Hello and welcome to another free code session. My name is Jason Bach. I do have to watch the time a little bit more closely now because I have to leave in an hour. So I can maybe do one. I know I can do this one, but maybe one more after this. We'll see. I have to start actually editing all these videos I've been making so that I can start getting stuff back out there on YouTube. And I'm going to plan on doing that this week. This week should also be fun at work because the project that I'm on, which has so many moving parts and it has so much IAC stuff, infrastructure as code stuff, which I admit is not my strong point. It's not where I think there's some places where I do rather well, or I think I'm fairly competent in. The stuff with the infrastructure as code is not my forte. So, and there's a fair amount of that with this project. Plus we have a lot of integration points, a lot of security. It's a fun project, but two of the other tech folks on the project are on vacation, and then the week after I'm on vacation. So, and we're trying to get this to start being tested, beta tested. So yeah, it's going to be a fun week. Okay. So what I wanted to do from the last episode is I realized I needed to bring this code in as post-initialization context. This will now get generated within all my tests, and so all my tests are breaking because I need to specify what values are going to be made here. So what I want to do is have something in here that will say, here are all the types that I could generate. And that could be accessed from anywhere. So I could say something like internal static. We could have string file name, string code, get output code. Our first one would be this. We're going to say return. Oh no, we want a immutable array of these things. How we want to do this? No, not those. Is that, and we want to say that plus this, except we want that there. And let's see if we can sneak this comment in here. Yes, we can. Okay. So we did a comma there. And now it should say expression body for member. And boom, that works. Hallelujah for collections expressions and tuples and everything. Neato. So now if we ever need to add another one, we just add it to this list here. And here's what we do. We take this and say, for each var file name code in incremental generator extensions get output code. We now do this. And this makes this a little bit, it just moves the file name. Well, no, we want to say, file name, and then we say source text, source text from code encoding UTF-8. There. Wait, there, yes. There. So now we just add them here instead of here. Or we could call a function here to get the file name and the code, however we want to do it. But this is the point that this is going to use to add all the extra sources that we want to do. And in our tests here, for example, now we need to have a method. We have to have something in our tests here to say, what does that actually get passed in here as? It's an enumerable. We could have internal static enumerable of, what are we doing here? This is a tuple. So we have an enumerable of a type, a string, and a string. Get, what are we doing here? Get generated sources. Okay. Now, of course, we have to pass into this all of the enumerable of these generated sources. Okay. So now we're going to yield return, we're going to say for each var source in generated sources, actually we want to say generated source and generated sources, yield return generated source. Okay. But then we're also going to want to say for each var output code in incremental extensions. Wait, what are we calling this? Context extensions. Get output code, because this gives us, well, okay. We're assuming here that it's always going to be rock generator. So we could maybe shore this up a little bit. And but we want to have a type here. Okay. But we always know it's going to be a type of rock generator. And then we want to say file name code in generator, file name code. And then that does that. Perfect. And we also want to do the same thing here. Whoops. Here. Because what does that do? It does a file name and code. Oh. Yeah, let's just do output here, because now we can say, perfect. What's the complaint about? Variable can be, well, you told me I didn't have to do that. Whatever. Okay. No, I don't need mono Cecil here. Go away. Now, what I could do, for example, in a test here, is I could say code test assistance, get generated sources, passing all this in. And now if I run this, what this should do is allow me to say, yes, I'm going to create this, but I'm also going to create that other file. So let's see what happens when I run this. It still failed. Why did it fail? Actual 4. Target runtime doesn't support byref like generics. Well, fine, we can put nullable enable on it. That's fine. Wait, where do we put that? That's a little disconcerting, to be honest, that it complained about that, because tests here, we should be targeting what we're doing up here, which is 9 and language version. Unless, crap. Okay, maybe that's just something I have to dig into with my tests here and that. Why is that 8? Well, that's the analyzer. The generator should be 9. Yeah, and I'm almost positive that I went through this to say that we're using preview. So I don't know why that came up. Unless, where are we using this? Compilation options. Compilations options come from this. Those are parse options. These are compilations options with compares. What might be happening is that this is getting in the way. So this is the fun stuff. This is the great stuff. I love this stuff. This is so much fun. Oh, God. Okay. We will figure this out. So now we should have 3. Let's actually pop that in here. Yeah, we know that. Yes. So these are all just because the compilation is thinking that it's not in 9. So how do we get around that? Well, we are saying at least the reference assemblies are 9. And then in our incremental generator test here, we say solution get project compilation objects. We could, with language, with syntax tree option providers, new syntax tree options provider. Why can't I create this? You know, with something. Somewhere in here is what we want to use. Where are we calling this from? Do we never call this here? Oh, it's an override. Okay, so we are setting the language version here. Is this not getting called? Oh, I'm in release mode. Yeah, stop debugging. Okay. So we do say preview, but what we may not be doing is saying that the version of the runtime, like I'm specifying here the reference assemblies that I want, but I'm not saying like what's the version, the runtime version. And I'm not sure how to do that off the top of my head. Let's do this. Var x is equal to that. Okay. So let's see what we get when we run this test. So x is 57. The hell are all these? These are it's not quite the specific diagnostic options. Yeah. So what I really want here, I think, and then put the breakpoint there. Features, script, warning level, syntax tree options provider. I thought, okay, so I thought I just ran into this. And I thought, well, let's change this because that needs to be that anyway. Well, we could say with the syntax options that we could say we want to do preview. I don't know if I'm going to be able to figure this out right now. I may need to do some more research to figure out how do I get this test infrastructure that I use, this library that I use, which is this one. Somewhere within there, I needed to say when I create not this is my own one, but when I create an incremental C# source generator, that's really what I'm creating here. I needed to say you actually with, yeah, this is what I want. I think it's the language version, but okay, I'm going to stop here because I have the feeling this is the right spot to do what I'm trying to do, but I can't find the API to say I need to target .NET 9 because I have the feeling that that's the problem. I could be wrong. I'll figure that out off camera, and then in the next episode, I'll also do this. If I figure that out, then that should make this change work. And then what I have to do is, as you saw, like 150 odd tests are breaking. I need to change them all so that when I do a test like this, where now I have two sources coming in, let's scroll all the way down to the bottom here, that these actually get passed into that. Now, as I'm looking at this too, one last thing. Instead of having to change all of my code, what I could do is I own this. And so let's actually back up the bus here. Well, I'm still going to have to, when I run the generator, it's always going to be this. So I still will have to do some code cleanup. But what I can do is at least take this off. And when I say generated sources, I could take what I'm getting here, change it to not have the type here. That would still require me to go on all the files. But I could look for something like type of this and change it into just being that throughout my code. And that should get rid of all those. And we don't do that with analyzers. And then that way I can just get a string and string and then combine it here because I know I'm going to generate those. So that's another thing I can do. So I will do that all off camera. I know there's a way to get this to work. I just don't know how. specifically, and I'm going to run out of time, and I don't want to go to a movie frustrated. So I'll figure all that out. And in the next episode, all my tests will pass. We are now creating this ref struct argument in code, because we're doing that. Where did that go? Somewhere up here. We're doing that in an extension. And then I'll start actually changing rocks to using that to make things slightly better. Thank you all for watching. Leave comments and questions below. See you in the next episode.